What if you knew the exact day you would die? Nobody agrees on when it started, because it didn't announce itself. No signal, no warning, no sound in the sky. People simply looked down one morning, at their left palm, always the left palm, and found a date there, written in fine dark script, not tattooed, not carved, simply present. The date of your death, not an approximation, not a range, an exact date, month, day, year. Some people's dates were decades away, some were months, and a number nobody wanted to calculate out loud were within the week. The dates couldn't be washed off, couldn't be photographed. They showed nothing on camera, nothing on any device. They existed only when seen with a living human eye, which brought the second discovery, the one that changed everything. When you made direct eye contact with another person, their date appeared in your peripheral vision. Soft, automatic, unavoidable. The way you instinctively sense someone looking at you. Except this was a number, and the number was when they would die, and there was no switching it off. By 8 a.m., emergency call lines worldwide hit the highest single-hour volume in recorded history. The callers weren't sick. They weren't in danger. They had simply learned when they were going to die and needed to say it out loud to another human being before they could begin to believe it was real. 3 responses emerged immediately. Some people sat down and didn't move. Some called the person they loved most, not to discuss the date, just to hear a voice. And some started doing math. How many summers? How many ordinary Tuesdays? How many times they'd see their child's face change into someone they hadn't met yet? The math never helped. The math always made it worse. Within 72 hours, before any government issued a single policy, human behavior had completely reorganized itself. Because the dates were visible to everyone. A name emerged online before the first week ended. Dateism. Discrimination based on how much time you had left. Not your background, not your beliefs. Simply your number, and therefore in the cold logic that fills any vacuum, your worth. A woman with a date 40 years out walks into a job interview. The manager sees her date the moment she sits down. Interview lasts 45 minutes. She gets the offer that afternoon. Her colleague, same qualifications, has a date 8 years out. The interview lasts 12 minutes. The company never calls back. Nobody called it discrimination yet. They called it planning. They called it being realistic. It was the most honest lie anyone told during those first weeks. Society gave a name to people whose dates fell within 12 months. Expireds. It started online, then became office shorthand. Then something people said out loud in public without lowering their voice. A woman with 11 months on her date tries to rent an apartment in a new city. She applies to 14 properties. All 14 reject her. She finds one landlord willing. 4th floor, no elevator, no nearby grocery store, 40% above market rate. She takes it, because she has 11 months and cannot spend 3 of them searching for somewhere better to live. Here is what nobody imagines correctly about knowing their death date. They imagine a single devastating moment, then acceptance, then a kind of terrifying freedom. The cliché, the person who finally takes the trip, makes the call, lives fully for the first time. That cliché does not survive contact with reality, because the date is there every single morning. You wake up, you look at your palm. The date has not changed. There is no morning where you wake up having earned more time. Just a number, one day smaller than yesterday. Psychiatrists begin calling it terminal calculus, the relentless arithmetic of a known ending. Patients cannot stop subtracting, cannot stop measuring what's left against what they haven't done yet. Creativity across the human race nearly stops entirely, because making something requires believing a future version of you will see it finished. For hundreds of millions of people, that belief is now a lie they can read in their own hand. Day 22. A man in Reykjavik whose date falls on day 23 does not die on day 23. He's 34. He spent 3 weeks saying quiet goodbyes. Day 23 arrives and passes. Day 24. Day 25. The man is alive and more frightened than he was when he thought he was dying. At least dying made sense. This doesn't. His story reaches every corner of the world within hours. The reaction is not relief, it is desperation. If one person cheated their date, anyone can. And for millions watching their dates approach like headlights on a dark road, the question stops being, how do I accept this? It becomes, how did he do it? Researchers arrive in 48 hours and find nothing medically unusual, but on day 3, his sister contacts the team. Her date changed. The date she'd known for weeks, nearly 30 years away, has moved. It is now 14 months from today. The researchers cross-reference every suspected date cheat since the phenomenon began. Cases that never went public. People too frightened to come forward. In every single case, someone the person loved deeply had their date move forward. Always shorter, never longer. Death has a ledger. It always did. And the ledger always balances. The knowledge takes 3 days to spread publicly, 6 days to be weaponized. If someone cheats their death date, someone they love pays the difference. But if a person has no emotional connection to you, the debt falls on no one you care about. Within weeks, investigators are documenting what they call date transfer crimes, finding isolated, frightened people with near dates, befriending them, encouraging them through their date, then stepping back. No weapon, no evidence, just a conversation. Just someone saying, "You don't have to accept this, you deserve more time." Then walking away before the ledger settles. Day 61, a demographer in Oslo runs routine statistical analysis and finds an anomaly she checks 5 times before calling anyone. She phones her department head at 2 a.m. Her voice on the recording is completely flat, the flatness of someone who has passed through fear into a place that has no name yet. Every child born since the phenomenon began has the same death date. Not similar, not clustered. Identical, same month, same day, same year. Every newborn everywhere on Earth for 61 days straight. The date is 19 years from today. Researchers look for a biological cause, a mutation, anything. They find nothing. But buried in the data is one more detail, the date shared by every newborn. It first appeared on a single person's palm 62 days ago, 1 day before the phenomenon began. Investigators spend 3 weeks identifying who that person was. The search ends with hospital records from Nairobi, a newborn who died 63 days ago, 11 hours old. Cause of death, undetermined. The child had no name yet, only a date on their palm, and that date was not the child's death date. The child died on a different day entirely. The date on that infant's hand was 19 years from now, the same date now carried by every child born since. It was never a prediction. It was never about that child at all. The world had not been warned. It had been given a deadline. And whatever set that deadline had given humanity exactly 19 years to figure out why. If you looked at your palm right now and saw your exact death date, would you spend your remaining time actually living? Or would you spend every day trying to outrun it? And honestly, is there even a difference?